Hey everybody, Ben here. If you were at Camptober this past weekend, I hope we had another amazing time. Oh, I love Camptober, so much fun. Tonight, we are in week 2 of a series called Wrong, Right, where we are talking about justice and thinking about the wrongs that exist in the world around us. Now, last week, we found out that Jesus looked for wrongs that were happening around him, and he fought for what was right. But sometimes we don't have to go looking for wrongs that are happening around us, because sometimes it comes to us, right? Like we're the ones who have been wronged. And sometimes the worst offenders are our own brothers and sisters. Check this out.
Tell me a story of some time when the two of you when one of you was like mean to the other one.
That's a lot of the time.
That's a lot of the time?
So Bonnie, you're the mean sibling in your family?
I would say so.
Oh my goodness. Okay, tell me about a way that you have used or abused your little brother.
Oh my goodness. Well, I don't actually remember this, but my mother told me that when he was born, I would try and push him off of her lap because I was jealous that he was around and I wasn't the little one anymore.
Awesome. Good story.
So I'm also probably the mean sibling. I like to make my two younger brothers help me clean my room and take in all my stuff from the car.
They cleaned your room?
Yeah.
Wow.
Halloween, my dad and my brother decided to get a fake huge tarantula.
Yes.
And I hate insects and bugs.
And spiders,
they
yes.
just creep me out.
Uh-huh.
And they put it in my bed. So it was like pitch black at midnight when me and my friends got home. I went up in my bed.
And there was...
And I screamed because I thought it was a huge tarantula and it fell out of my bunk.
He shaved my head when I was little.
You
so I was
shaved?
almost bald, but not quite bald.
You shaved your sister's head, Reese. Okay. Oh gosh, if you are an only child in the room right now, you're like, yes, life is good. No sibling to make me clean their room or shave my head. Dude. But it turns out these stories pale in comparison to how one guy in the Bible got treated by his brothers. Now, this guy's name is Joseph. He had 11 brothers, big family. Now, Joseph was a bit of a cocky guy, pretty full of himself. And his cockiness got him into trouble with his brothers. So they decided to, teach him a lesson. Actually, that's not quite right. They didn't want to teach him a lesson. They decided to kill him, okay? Now, in the end, they didn't kill him, but only because one of the brothers figured out that they could sell him into slavery and make some money. They literally sold their own brother, and they faked his death so that no one would go looking for the body. Oh my gosh. A shaved head doesn't sound so bad. Now, fast forward a few years in Joseph's life. He became the head slave in the house of a rich Egyptian guy. Now, the rich guy's wife came to Joseph and said, "Come to bed with me." As in, I want to have sex with you, okay? Joseph refused. He did the right thing in this situation. Here's what he said. He said, "With me in charge, my master does not concern himself with anything in the house. Everything he owns, he has entrusted to my care. My master has withheld nothing from me except you, because you're his wife. So how could I do such a wicked thing and sin against God?" And though she spoke to Joseph day after day, he refused to go to bed with her or even be with her. Joseph did the right thing. So what did she do? She turned the tables on him. She went to her husband and said, "Joseph tried to seduce me." Rich Egyptian guy threw Joseph in prison. Man, Joseph is over 2 First, he steps out of line just a smidge, and his brothers sell him into slavery. And then he does the right thing, and he gets thrown in prison. Life was just so unfair to this guy. No, not just unfair. Life was wrong. No, it wasn't life. It was people. People did these things to him. Gosh, people can be awful sometimes. Have people ever been awful to you? Have you ever been on the receiving end of someone treating you like garbage? Maybe you were wronged by a family member or a friend, classmate, even a teacher or someone in authority. I mean, Joseph was wronged by like everyone he knew. Maybe like Joseph, it happened to you when you were a bit of a jerk and they retaliated. Or maybe, also like Joseph, it happened when you did the right thing. Or maybe you did nothing at all and still someone was just so mean to you. Oh, I'm so sorry. Even if it's something little, like your big sister making you clean her room, still, I'm really sorry. And if it's something medium-sized that still bothers you, or something that tears you up on the inside, I'm sorry. Now, we could keep reading Joseph's story, but I don't want to get to the ending. Because, Joseph's story has a bit of a happy ending. I don't want to go to the happy ending. I want to stay here in the middle, right where things suck. Because it's one thing to trust God when you know how things end, and it's another thing entirely to trust God from right in the middle of the mess. And that's what Joseph chose, because Joseph picked up on something. When we are treated unjustly, God is still just. Even when people are awful to us, the God of love and justice is still present and active. His heart breaks over what has happened. He wants to set things right. And perhaps most significantly, he wants to be just with us in the middle of the mess. Now, knowing all of that doesn't change what's happened to us, but it can change us. It changed Joseph. Joseph walked with God and listened to God the rest of his days, when things were great and when things were bleak, dark, crappy. And the God of Joseph's story is the same God at work in our lives. Knowing that God is just changed Joseph. It set his heart free. It helped him to move on. And it inspired him to right a few wrongs for others. And knowing that God is just can change you and me too. Maybe I can move on from feelings of bitterness because of what's happened in this relationship to feelings of freedom because of what's available in this relationship. Maybe I can turn my focus to helping others and righting some of the wrongs that I see around me. Have a great conversation tonight.